But, Cam, it is time to start turning our attention, as me and Gabe just did, to Week 2 in the NFL. Pain Day, baby. Let's go. And it will start tomorrow night in Miami. Bills and Dolphins. Let's go, baby. Josh Allen owns the fish, Cam. How about 11-2 in his career against them? In fact, he's won. I saw there was a tweet today, Cam. It read off like all the accomplishments of Josh Allen against Miami. 5 AFC Player of the Week awards. He averages 350 yards a game. He averages 37 touchdowns and 8 or 9 turnovers, something like that. So he absolutely mashes the Dolphins. Tua is very aware of that as well. He knows the history, especially since he's been here in Miami, between the Buffalo and Miami. He says that's not going to change until we do something about it.
Well, that's going to be what's written out there until we do something about that. That's going to be the narrative, that we can't beat the Bills, and until we do beat them and we beat them consistently, like, none of that's going to change. And we have an opportunity to do that this year. We have an opportunity to do that this Thursday.
They do have an opportunity to do that, Cam. Mostert is out for Miami. Achane is a game-time decision, so they could be thin at the running back position, especially if Devon Achane doesn't go. What worries me in this game, Cam, from the Buffalo perspective, I think that Allen will get his. He's going to score points, just like he did on Sunday. I think he's going to do a lot himself. He's going to get these new guys involved. He always plays well against the fish. But this kind of newer look Buffalo D, especially in the linebacker and the secondary position, and they're not going to have Taron Johnson, their best corner slot, as either their slot cornerback. For me, Cam, that means Miami's going to eat too. And this could become a game where there's lots of points and maybe one of those who's got the ball last type of situations in the fourth quarter.
Couldn't agree more, Carver. Usually these Thursday night games are snoozers, right? We hit the under, but how do you take the under with these offenses? And the Bills secondary too. Gabe and I talked about it on Sports Rage. Like, I have major concerns. Allen took this team on the back. That first half against the Cardinals was brutal, Carver, and then they kind of figured it out. But Miami too, the Bills defensive line, they got to get the 2 in this game. Don't get guys open, but I'll tell you, it should be a barn burner. I expect a close one, but I got to take the points with the Bills, Carver. Me, you, and Morency, we're all Buffalo Bill, baby. I like, you know me, they're like my pseudo team after the Seahawks. Always cheer for everything Buffalo. So let's go, Bills. Let's get it done.
You look at the scores, Cam, that they've had recently. Last year, obviously, they played that 21-14 game the last week of the season. Now, there was a lot on the line there. They were playing for the division, etc. A little bit more close to the vest game. But 48-20, 34-31, 32-29, 26-11, 56-26, 31-28. They generally play these games in the high 20s, sometimes even into the 30s for the two of them. So, for me, Cam, that's where I'm going to look. When it comes for these two. Obviously, we want the Bills to win as well. But 48.5 with the total right now. Miami minus 2.5 is the number, Cam.
I would advise, teasers all the time, but in games like this where the numbers are sharp, think about this, Carver. You get the Bills 9.5 on a 7 with a 41.5. Like, can we get there? Yeah, I think we can. And then I get the dog at over a touchdown as well. So it's something I'll be doing. I'll be playing the over in this game and little sprinkle on Buffalo plus the points in the money line. But this is it. These guys, I'm going to tell you too, Gabe liked Coleman for the props in this game. I think Kincaid's going to bounce back. He only had 1 catch in week 1 versus the Cards. I know the Bills want to spread it around, but I expect him to be a bigger part of the offense this week, Carver.
Yeah, that number's right in the sweet spot, Cam, as you mentioned, for if you do like to do the teasers. And I usually will do like one fun one on Sunday morning before the slate. But maybe I should put it in before tomorrow night because, the 2.5 going up to 8.5. I usually do the 6-pointers. 2.5 to 8.5. You could take the Giants from 1.5 to 7.5, Rams 1.5 to 7. I like going that way, Cam. I want to cross two numbers if I'm going to do it. Especially in those 1s and 2s going through 3 and 7. Those are really the only games I'll look to. I don't like dropping them down. I know a lot of people say 6.5 down to pick them. That's not really for me, Cam. I don't love it. I love more adding the points on. So maybe you're right. Adding the Bills to one of my little teasers for this weekend. That could be a nice way to go.
I'm going to tell you, Carver, too. Like, I'm looking at the card, and we talked before the show. I think teasers might be the way to go. I know we have to look at things outside the box. Like some of these dogs, they're tricky. Like, what do you do with these games? It's nice to have the security of points, and people are like, oh, don't buy points. Whatever. Me and Gabe we say this on our show all the time. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Like I don't like to cross a lot, but I'll do a 7 if it goes from 3.5 point favorite to 3.5 point dog. If I think it's going to be a close game, I don't do it all the time, but I'm with you though, Carver. I prefer to take the dog at 1.5 and jack it to 8.5 or 7.5, something like along those lines. So I'm going to be playing a lot of teasers this week because I think the board's tough.
And I'll tell you this too: if you start looking, obviously we do a lot of props with these games. I think that every week is going to be different in terms of what Bill wide receiver is going to have the big night. And I'm just really looking – I think the only thing you could really attack is touchdowns, Cam. I don't think you can, on a weekly basis, really zero in on a guy with yards. I mean, even Kincaid last week, he had 1 catch for 11 yards. You'd think he would be the most reliable guy, but Arizona doubled him the entire day. Like, this Mac Hollins is plus 440 to score. Curtis Samuel's plus 440. Dawson Knox is 5-1. He played a lot of snaps last week. Shakir's even still plus 290. One or two of these guys, Cam, of that little group right there, Coleman's plus 250, I'll put him in there too. 1 or 2 of those 5 guys is going to score every week for Buffalo. I feel.
And
every week.
I agree with you, Carver. And
that's who he's throwing to. That's his receiver. That's his whole receiver core. And they're all guys that go and catch the touchdowns there. All right, next, Cam. How about Pittsburgh? As we know, they go on the road last week in Atlanta, get themselves a win over the Falcons, and that was with Justin Fields at the helm. Now they are going out to Denver, back-to-back weeks on the road, which is always fun, Cam. There's a few teams that are doing that this week, playing their first 2 games on the road. Not easy, and I think I probably, Cam, will run out of time, and I'll save Mike Tomlin for after the break, Cam. I'm going to save Tomlin because I need to give him the proper amount of time. If Scotty was here, he wouldn't let me play Mike Tomlin and then zip off the break. He would not like that at all. So I cannot do that either today if it was him not being here. But Fields it's going to be Fields, Cam. I know that we're going to hear him say we'll see how he does at practice this week with Russell Wilson. It's going to be Fields. And he won, Cam, but they didn't score a touchdown in the game. They kicked 6 field goals.
I'm telling you. I'll tell Scotty this, too. Enjoy Vegas, buddy. I'm thinking about taking the Denver Broncos as a home pooch. Sorry, man. I watched the Seattle game. I know they murdered him, but I think Nixon's going to be a lot better at home, Carver. And that's the thing about the Steelers. Field goals, that's when I like to take that home dog, buddy. 3's enough for me. Give me Denver.
Mike Tomlin talking about his quarterback situation. Now, if you just read the headlines yesterday, Cam, they kind of made it out like, well, Fields is starting on Sunday. That's that. I don't think it was really that simple. I think if you listen to Tomlin here, he sounds like he still wants to start Russell Wilson, but he knows that he really doesn't have any choice. He's going to have to start Fields. Here's Tomlin.
We'll first start with his participation and his level of participation, his quality of participation. Over the course of the week, we'll be analyzing whether he's capable of protecting himself, whether he's capable of being productive. When we get to those points, that's when we'll ponder his inclusion or not. And when that happens will probably be a component of that equation. But as I sit here today, we're preparing as if Justin is going to be our quarterback. I think that's the appropriate way to do it. Speculation is a waste of time. Russell's hurt. He's not available to us. And so, as you guys know, as a general practice, man, I focus my energy on those that are available and their readiness.
Well, okay, Cam. So which is it? Because at the beginning of that, he said, we're gonna take a look and we're gonna see how if he can protect himself and if he could do this and if he could do that and we'll see how much he contributes in practice. But then at the end, it sounded like he was saying, yeah, well, he's not ready to play. Which is it? Listen, I think Fields is playing, Cam. I just don't know why we have to play the word salad. Just, all he had to say right there, make it simple, Mike. Justin Fields is starting this week.
Yes.
Russ isn't ready. We're going to hope he does enough in practice that maybe he's a player for us next week. There it is, Cam. I just did it. I don't know why you had to do all that and confuse everybody.
You're right. It's just it has to go round and around and around. I'll tell you one thing, though. I think Sean Payton in Denver wished that Russell Wilson was starting, for them. They've seen him before, right? But I think it's an advantage to Denver if he is. But Fields, as you said, that offense, they only got field goals in that game. I was on the Steelers last week, but that's a concern. And Denver, totally different team, I think, at Mile High this week than traveling to Seattle and McDonald's opener for the Seahawks. So I expect a tight one, and when the game is tight, we lean dog, Carver.
Now, we dogs. And I think yesterday, Cam, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw some threes with this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm actually seeing it this very second, it's 2.5. So Steelers minus 2.5 here with the robust 36.5 total, which is understandable after an 18-10 game. And listen, you saw the Broncos against your Seahawks. I don't think they're bad defensively. I don't think they're as good as some people make them out. But watching the Bronco D against Seattle and watching the Pittsburgh D, which is always very good, that might not be low enough, Cam, at 36.5. This might be a 13-10, 16-13 type of game.
I'm not running to the window to bet the over. It's under or nothing for me. It's a little bit too low, but yeah, I expect a grind him out game, Carver, field goal attempts. Like, it's going to be ugly, lots of punts. And that's the thing. I'll give Denver credit, though. They had a couple plays on Seattle. They got 2 safeties in that game, but Seattle dominated in the second half. As for Pittsburgh, and Carver, Cousins was hurt. There's obvious after that surgery, he is not 100%. So you can look and say, you know what, that might not cut it this week in Denver. You're going to have to get some touchdowns in this game, but I'm with you. I see defense all over the board.
Broncos odds to make the playoffs, Cam. It was plus 450 before week 1. They lose week 1, plus 750 now. So you get yourself a little bit more with the Broncos. Yeah, I'm not ready to go there, Cam.
Me neither.
No, thank you.
No thanks. I'll pass.
Bronco.
You got me excited with plus 750, but I'm going to have to walk away. It's like me and Carver walking down the street and go free beers, and we just want to sit down. What's the catch? I'm not in. I'm not in at plus 750.
Almost as excited, Cam, as I got when I saw Alejandro Tosti's number this week over at the golf tournament.
Oh, Tosti's!
I know I got no shot, but when I see a number like that on Toasty, I just had to go and do that to myself and go buy one. Next, Jets, who got absolutely embarrassed on Monday night, I thought, in San Francisco. More so, Cam, I think Rodgers was awful. More so because I was told the strength of this team was their defense, and their defense got smashed by the 49ers, particularly by Jordan Mason, who was filling in for Christian McCaffrey. Here's Robert Saleh, though. No worries, Cam. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to fix the defense.
I know we're going to get the defense fixed. That is not a problem. If that's a problem, it's not a problem. And I know we're going to get a lot better from week 1 to week 2. We got a great opportunity this week against Tennessee on a short week. They were very unfortunate not to come away with the game, their game against Chicago, but and they've got a lot of really good pieces. They got one of the best O-line coaches in the history of football who's given us fits over the last few years. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge. But like I said, guys, it's a 17-game season. Got 16 of these left, and getting the defense fixed is not going to be a problem.
It's not going to be a problem, and it also helps, Cam, that, look, I know he was trying to pump up Will Levis, and I just saw a few of the other guys do it. He was awful against the Bears on Sunday. He's the reason that the Titans lost that game. So, listen, the Jets are going to get to flex muscle here. They're going to get to puff out their chest, Cam, the next couple weeks because they're going to play the Titans. They're going to play the Patriots. They're going to play the Broncos. They're going to get to, if their defense is as good as he says it is, and they'll wash away Monday night, and they should be able to flex and puff their chest out against all these next couple opponents that they're going to have.
I agree. And getting beat down like that against San Francisco, they're going to take it out on the Titans. And you said it. Levis was brutal in the fourth quarter of that game. Also sloppy play, fumbling a punt. That's the whole thing. I can't believe Tennessee lost that game, but the Jets are going to come in there and they're going to punch him in the face. I think they're going to cover this game, Carver. Probably win by 13.
Yeah. So I gave you the numbers there with the Jets and the Titans. They'll, of course, be in the early window, 1 o'clock East. It's 3.5 for the Jets. It's 40.5 with the total. Don't love the total either, Cam, to be quite honest with you.
I kind of do. I think Will Levis is good for – no, I'm going the other way. I think Will Levis is good for a pick 6. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets – you know what? I might do something crazy, Carver style. I know Carver and Lisi. Hey, Carver, I like my big number. 2 defensive touchdowns by the Jets in this game I'm thinking about betting. I got a feeling they absolutely pound Levis into the ground. He'll be begging for mayonnaise. This guy, what's this deal with this guy? Mayonnaise in his coffee and eats mayonnaise and stuff. He's a weird dude. But anyway, I like the Jets defense. more than one touchdown in this spot. I think we can get over because of the defense, Carver.
I think we can get over because of the defense as well, Cam. Maybe possible. I kind of lean to the under, though, with that one. Bengals and the Chiefs. Me and you were talking about this game before the show or during one of the breaks. Of course, Bengals 1-10 in the first 2 weeks of the season under Zach Taylor. They have not been good, Cam, whatsoever in the first 2 weeks. Lost at home last week to the New England Patriots. They've got all kinds of problems. Higgins did not practice again today. Of course, he didn't play last Sunday. There's a report floating around now, Cam, that Jamar Chase turned down $140 million from the Bengals as well. You can tell from his last couple meetings with the media that he's not thrilled about many things. They go into Kansas City getting 5.5 now in this game. 47.5 is the total. And meanwhile, the Chiefs, Cam, ho-hum, win on opening night, extra rest coming into this game. They get to play their second game at home as well. Must be nice to be the Super Bowl champs, Cam.
It always is, Carver. You know the Chiefs, hey, it's their world. We're just living in it. But I'm going to say this. So you're telling me we have all these reports. Higgins doesn't practice. Chase is unhappy. Burrow looked like crap, and we can't even hit a 7. This line seems fishy to me. I'm kind of thinking like the Joe Lisi approach here, and that's my problem, Carver. I think too much about like trap lines and stuff, but this game has got trap to me written all over it. I know the Bengals have been bad out of the gate, but I think it's a tight game, and I see KC maybe winning by 3. I would not be shocked. I think the Bengals always play KC tough, and they don't mind going to Arrowhead either. I think they're gonna get their best effort, and they lose a tight one. I'm going to take the points. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, look, I Burrow always plays well against Kansas City, Cam.
Mm-hmm.
He always plays well. He's played well at Arrowhead. He's one of the few guys who's won there in the playoffs. So giving him more than 3 in this game, as bad as the Bengals looked offensively on Sunday, I don't hate it. Now, I don't know if you can actually drag me into the waters with you, Cam, but I don't hate it from that perspective. I don't think I'd lay it with Kansas City. I'd probably lean a little bit more towards your side of things in it.
I wouldn't take you in the water with me, Carver. It's an undertow. I'll take my own life in my hands. I don't want to drag my buddy down, too. You know? If
I had a little bit more assurances that Chase was going to be like engaged and involved in the game, I'd feel so much better about it. But it's a major unknown. I mean, he had 6 targets on Sunday. After the game, it's ask Zach. Why don't I get ask Zach? There's some problems there right now off the field with that crew. And that's kind of the thing that on the surface for me, Cam, is just a little bit too much. A little bit too much for me to cross that bridge. I gave you, I got a few of these today, these numbers to make the playoffs. Bengals were minus 250 before week number 1. They lose at home to New England week 1. Minus 125 after.
Give it to me.
Bengals lost, of course, as 7.5-point home favorites in the season opener. So now minus 1. I think they still make the playoffs, Cam, because, listen, last year, same thing. Like I just told you, he's 1-10 in the first 2 weeks. What'd they do last year? They started getting hot. They made the playoff. You know, Burrow got hurt. They didn't make it last year. But either way, they've had these stretches where they play bad the first 2 or 3 weeks. They play great in October and November. And they end up getting themselves there as long as Burrow is healthy, Cam. That is all that matters. As long as Burrow is there and he's healthy.
Let's be smart. They'll probably lose to the Chiefs, and then we'll get them at plus money. Then we click the button. How's that sound?
And we'll start with the Cleveland Browns, who looked miserable.
Yikes.
Miserable in their season opening loss at home to the Dallas Cowboys. More of the same for Deshaun Watson, Cam. He stinks. He's stealing money, all right. And he's now even got more problems. We know all of his legal issues of the past. He was hit with some more this week. There was a report yesterday that the NFL is not going to put him on the restricted list. I think that would actually help Cleveland, Cam, if they put him on the restricted list. He's been so bad for them. Now they actually have to keep playing him while he's still with the team. And they will do that this Sunday in Jacksonville. Here is Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. Let's just say, Cam, he's not really going to talk much about more legal troubles for Deshaun Watson.
Regarding Deshaun's legal situation, we put out a statement yesterday I won't have much to add past that statement. We'll let due process play out and follow the NFL's guidelines. We are 100% focused on Jacksonville, 100% focused on going on the road against a good football team, trying to find a way to get a W.
Everything that is going on in his life right now, I know you said you're 100% focused on Jacksonville, just, haven't been around him. Where's his focus? Where's he at?
Yeah, focused on the task at hand.
How do you keep this from becoming a distraction, Kevin?
Yeah, that's how we operate, Jeff. We really are concerned about the things that are right in front of us in this building, we concern ourselves with our opponent, so that's really where our focus is.
There you go. That is Kevin Stefanski, of course, and Watson said the same thing. He talked today too, Cam. My focus is on football. That's all fine and good, but this is now, Cam, going to be like, this is like a lot of things meshing together for Cleveland, who last year played good when Watson got hurt and made the playoffs and played better football. You have not only the fact that he has sucked since going to the Cleveland Browns, and he has been awful as the starting quarterback. So that's one, kind of distraction. Because Stefanski, when is Deshaun going to get better? Why isn't Deshaun better? When is Deshaun get better? Now we'll throw on top of that, oh, look, more legal trouble for him.
Mm-hmm.
So this can unravel fairly quickly this season for them, Cam. A season that had some hope. They got good defense. Yep. They added some pieces on offense to go around Watson, and it can unravel fast. They need to lose a couple of these games here. I think they're going to lose Sunday in Jacksonville, Cam.
Yeah, I want to take the Browns, but it's hard to. Here's the deal. I don't care how much money this guy's making, guaranteed money. Do you want to throw your season away? And I always hate that excuse. Well, we're paying him. He has to start. No. As I said, he's stealing from you, and he is not trying and playing to his potential. It's obvious watching this guy. He doesn't care. And Jameis Winston used to throw like Carver. You remember, he led the league in passing yards a few years ago. Get him in the damn game. I want Watson gone. This guy's holding Cleveland back. You said it. They were doing it with Flacco. They're doing it with other guys. It's just, I don't know what the heck's going on here. That's why you don't give guys contracts like that with guaranteed money. He's stealing, and he's sucking, and he's hurting the rest of the team. So, you know what? Anybody but Watson, in my opinion. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's how I would feel as well, Cam, if I was in that situation for them. Right now, it is in Jacksonville. This also in the early window. Browns getting 3.5 right now, and 41.5 the total. I think the half is a little scary, Cam. Mm-hmm. I think the half's a little scary because I feel like this could be another one of these games that's like, as bad as I feel like I'm dragging Watson around, and honestly, now I'm saying maybe they could cover that. They can cover because of their D, and it's like the Steeler game, 16-13, 20-17. I could see the game being in that realm because I don't trust the Jags that much either, Cam. I don't trust them to lay 3.5.
Great call, Carver. I wouldn't be shocked. I know it's hard to get off this number, but the way everyone's talking, and I don't know anybody on Cleveland, you might get a 4. I know, I'm not sure that's going to happen, but if I like Cleveland, I'm going to wait till the final minute because I don't think they're going to bring it down to 3. It's 3.5 or 4, and if I get a 4, sign me up with Cleveland. I actually kind of lean that way at 3.5, but watching Deshaun Watson play, that's why it's not a bit that's why I'm wavering on this game. If you told me Winston played, I'd smash this game if you gave me Cleveland plus 3.5.
I told you, Cam, there's a lot of road favorites this week. I think there's 6 of them altogether.
Dangerous.
Road favorites in the NFL. One of those is your Seattle Seahawks, who are going to New England to play the Patriots, who are coming off a huge win on the road in Cincinnati over the Bengals. Another 3.5, another one of these tricky 3.5s, and the Seahawks are laying after the home win against the Broncos. This total's also under 40 at 37.5. I like the Seahawks, Cam. I know that I would probably feel the same way you do. You're probably a little uneasy about it, seeing your team go across country at 1 o'clock East, 10 a.m. local for them, playing in a game like this. But I think the Patriots had their moment last Sunday. I don't think they're a great football team. I think you know the game plan. We're going to run it, and we're going to play D. I think that only lasts so far, and I think it helped last week that the Bengals were so out of sync offensively. I don't think Seattle will have those problems this week. I think Seattle will score some points, and the Patriots aren't going to be able to do what they did in Cincinnati a week ago.
I hope Walker plays because he was dynamic. You should have seen this guy break like 4 tackles. Like, he was absolutely running over Broncos. He's so good. Imagine they had a better line, how good Kenneth Walker would be. The guy's special. And I'll tell you this, Charbonnet played pretty good in that game. I think DK Metcalf's going to be more part of the offense. You know what, Carver? We could have got this at 3. I feel better at that number. I'm worried about it, but I do remember one thing. Seattle went into Detroit. They've been playing, and remember, beat the Lions, and the Lions are a very good team. They're actually playing better recently in the last couple of years on the East Coast in these spots, but I worry. The Patriots D is pretty damn good, but I think Seattle probably wins this game by 4-7, so it just covers the number.
I'm on Seattle. I think it's a smash job, Cam. I don't say too many of these this week. I think it's a very tough card in the NFL. I think Seattle's going to be able to handle business. It'll help if Walker plays, and he was excellent last week, as you mentioned. I was on Walker for a couple of things in the prop-wise, including the touchdown that he was able to get. The Ravens and the Raiders. So Ravens come home. They've got a little extra rest after losing the opening night game. Lamar Jackson back at practice today. I know there was some stuff the last few days, Cam, where he wasn't practicing and he wasn't there, personal reasons, etc. Lamar back today for them, so no issues with that. 9.5 is the number here, which I believe, Cam, is the biggest number on the board this week in the NFL. The big 9.5 that they have in this game. 41.5 the total.
I like the Ravens. The spread's huge, but sometimes they just kick the crap out of teams at home, and especially coming off that performance. Like, I'm going to tell you, I think the Raiders could be in big trouble. The only reason I have to worry is Baltimore's offensive line, which is revamped against a pretty good Raider defensive line. That's the strength of their team, but we'll see. I think the Ravens should probably win by a couple touchdowns, Carver.